Good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming. This is a very highly anticipated panel. We have some really good panelists. They will share their views, their ideas, and we will try to make this topic as interesting as we can. So my name is Dimitrios Zamboglu. I will be your moderator today. I am the regional CEO of Blockfields. As you can understand, we're in digital assets. And without any further ado, I will give the floor to Evdogia to do a small introduction, and there onwards, the other panelists will introduce themselves. So, good morning, guys.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, HQ Mina, for the invitation. It's a great pleasure to be here today. My name is Evdogia. I'm the Risk and Compliance Director at Salvus Funds. And what we do at Salvus, of course, we help people with getting their license all over the world in the relevant jurisdictions. We specialize in investment firms, Forex licenses, crypto, payment providers, and funds. We further help them with ensure compliance in their regulated entities. We support them with internal audits and education needs. Happy to be here and share more insights from regulation and regulatory perspective.
Happy to have you here, Mr. Nasir.
Thank you very much. Pleasure to be here. You know, I like to stand, huh? Okay? I can stand?
Yes, you can stand, but we cannot hear you very well, maybe.
Okay, I will speak. You know, I think not many people will take us seriously because this is a commercial event. But I count a lot on social media, which they can take our message and convert it to others. Today, I usually try to be a diplomat or a politician, but I promise you, today I will not. So expect from me unusual answer. I will not answer you now, but if you ask me a question, you have to expect from me unusual answer, which is to be fair, maybe with respect to the audience, but I will answer to pass the message to government, regulators, and traders or investors or clients. So you have to be ready for that, okay? Thank you.
We are for sure ready for that. Miss Lina?
I think that's brilliant. Good morning. My name is Lena Pedersen. I'm the Chief Revenue Officer of Yours and one of the co-founders. Yours is the fastest trade execution technology on the market. We have bridging solutions, we have risk management, and of course reporting. And if we look at this panel, then we of course help our brokers send the correct data into the regulators. So that's, I guess, why I'm here today.
Mr. Anwar, please.
Thank you. Sabal Khair, good morning. Good to see you all. My name is Anwar Hussain, CFO DB Investing. In this country for around 20 years, alhamdulillah, I've been opportunity to work with the DFSA as a licensed finance officer for 10 years, and opportunity to work with all the regulators, ESCA, ADGM, DED, DMCC. So it's great to learn the regulations. And it's my dream that all the fintech company, Forex company, should have a sustainable, ethical business practice. I'm a strong believer it's only possible with the regulators, strong regulators, and of course the compliance. I think that things are changing very fast and quick. It's beneficial for the traders and as well for the brokers. So let's explore. Thank you.
Thank you very much, guys. Thank you for the introductions. Make sure you have the mic closer to you when you speak, because it's not easy for the people to hear you. So, Ms. Evdogia, you are one of the specialists in compliance that I know of. So maybe you can tell us a little bit what is AML and how it has changed over time, if you can.
Of course. Well, AML, I would say it's a buzzword around the globe right now, as everyone and everybody has to do AML, anti-money laundering, where basically started like this century from the States, and where Al Capone was doing money laundering in the sense of laundry the undeclared funds. Nowadays, though, what we care is not for illegal funds. We care about tax evasion. And what we see, fast forward the recent years, it's the introduction of crypto in our lives, and where we have effectively an anonymity of people, and while the regulatory perspective of it requires all firms to review and know the customers, identify them, do their due diligence. And this is, I say, where the Forex industry heavily tries to follow all the AML rules, identify the clients, getting their requirements of their due diligence, documentation, source of wealth, identification, which is very hard, especially, I say, in Asian countries where they didn't develop yet so good systems on it. But I say with the introduction of a lot of regulatory frameworks around the globe, which is already happening, especially in Dubai, Abu Dhabi, in crypto, we will effectively manage to identify our clients and everybody who deals with it. Now, if it's a good or bad thing, I leave it for the people to judge.
Mr. Nasir, and since we are here in the Middle East, KYC, do we see a future where not even the ID will be required for someone to be a client of a firm? Do we see a future similar to when we come to the airport? There will be just facial recognition and maybe not even the need of a passport, and people will be just onboarding frictionless in the system. Because nowadays I believe, especially in the UAE, if you have a UAE ID, you can onboard and be a client just with the number.
First of all, you have to be careful, huh? Because I'm sure there is cameras here, and they are recording what we are saying.
Of course.
Okay.
I am extremely careful and very diligent about what I am saying.
Excellent. I would, I would say I'm proud to be part of this region. I think in this region, we are improving a lot, more than any country in the world. Maybe UAE is the first country you can enter without passport, right?
Yes.
And maybe in UAE is the country where they can catch you if you act a crime, they can maybe catch you in 5 minutes or less than that. So you have to be careful, huh? And everybody has to be careful. You know, we used to be a Bedouin. A Bedouin, that's mean in 1970, I was born in 1963. In 1970, we had nothing. We used to be a Bedouin. While in America, there was World Trade Center and other countries. But proudly, I can say we are now much advanced than any system in the entire world. And we used to hear about the American dream. Now I think we have the Arabian dream.
That's very nice.
Thanks to His Highness Prince Mohammed bin Salman, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid. But now we have a newcomer, His Highness, my ruler, Sheikh Mishal. I think in Kuwait also we are coming to this era that Kuwait will be part of this high advanced system. So KYC or AML, you know, AML is an imported expression, came to us not from our region. We didn't have a drug dealing in our region. We didn't have tax violation in our region. So when you say about AML in our region is not part of our culture. We didn't have it. When you talk about KYC, it is not part of our culture. But even we accepted the expression, and now we are, I think, in our region, take it from my proudly country, Kuwait, Saudi, Gulf, UAE, I think we are the most who is implementing the real KYC. And I think we are implementing anti-money laundering. I know the audience, they are our friends, 25% my colleagues, 25% maybe your staff, the 50% are friends and customers and partners from industry. Maybe we look at this audience with respect only we are 200 people. But this message, I want to pass it to the industry. If you want to invest, if you want to have a real, clean, clear environment, I think our region, the GCC, is the best place to be in. And I can guarantee you, for the next 50 years, the destination to be in is GCC.
I mean, definitely we're all happy to be here, and we share many of the things you said. But let's move onwards to Miss Elena.
Thank you, Doma. Can I just add a little bit to that?
Of
your
course.
Initial question.
That's why
Yes,
we're
brilliant.
giving you the
Thank
floor.
You. I think it's fabulous how quickly UAE actually reacts to the challenges and opportunities put in front of the country. So if we go back to anti-money laundering and, I don't know, being able to just do the KYC with only a passport or no passport, historically, if we look at it worldwide, and especially high-risk industries such as FX, gold trading, even real estate, right? I think there are a lot of robust rules in this region where even the technology providers have to report to what is called Go AML, where, I mean, I'm not sure it can even happen in the Forex brokers, but even as a technology provider, you have to make sure that you have appropriate systems and controls in place. Because once I receive a payment for my services from someone, I need to be able to tell to, let's say, my bank, where did that payment come from? So if they are doing their KYC, they will reach out to me eventually and they would say, we're actually doing our AML and our KYC, so where are the documents? So although I'm not regulated, I have to report that details because otherwise I won't be able to use the banking system, right? So I think it's all intertangled. And I think we will see, a lot of changes, but in general, we will not go away from having to do the KYC and having to follow the AML rules, even if you're not regulated.
I was going to ask you the same questions about system and controls. Thank you for answering. Maybe Anwar, can you talk to us a little bit about challenges in the region, challenges internationally? Maybe you can speak a little bit about what challenges we have with these AML rules.
Yeah, thank you. Before this, I would like to ask why KYC? Why? Because it's all about the reputation of the company, reputation of the client. When you have a proper documentation in place, it's more trustable from the client perspective. That's very important when it comes to AML and KYC. The challenges would be the technological systems, and when we go to other countries, there are different. They may not be capable to handle the system in place, the resources. So this could be the challenges when it comes to different regions. However, it's slowly the landscape is moving, changing towards the better compliance, and things are getting better.
Can I please add to that?
Of course, I mean, it's an open floor. Who can add to the
Fantastic. Okay.
discussions? Please go ahead.
So for me, the biggest challenge when we look at the Forex brokers and them staying compliant is actually finding the people who understand the different regulators. Because a lot of brokers, they have different types of entities regulated by several regulators, and all of these regulators have different requirements. Now, finding people who are actually able to advise on what is needed for every specific regulator and how it can all work together and be appropriately reported back, I think that's the biggest challenge, in my opinion. I don't know if Dokia...
That's why we are here.
Yes,
Elena.
exactly. You probably would agree with me.
Yeah, it's very interesting, and I agree with you, Elena. We face it every day in our life, where people want to set up, they want to have licenses, they don't even know why they want this license, but I start with the easiest question. Where will be serving your clients? What is your target market?
Exactly.
Yeah, this is very important, maybe the most important question, and then not from where. You can be in Dubai, for example, and you don't have only clients from UAE region. You have clients from other places as well, but you have also, I say, you built up reputation. Like, for example, there is no reason for someone to get a SCA license if they are not going to offer this to UAE region. So we have Seychelles, Mauritius, and many other places, Cyprus. Why? It's a question. And why you want to go there and your target market, which is very important. And then when you get the license, what you do with it to ensure compliance, because this is most important. If you get the fines, then they follow you for life. And this is a very important subject where we see around the world.
Of course.
Anti-money laundering or regulators, I think it's part of the big ethics. I think ethics contain everything. If you have an ethic in business, that means you are 100% you complied with regulator, with AML, and because for me, as a Muslim, I will never feed my kids with what you call it haram money. 100%. So that means it's ethics. Before Islam, and Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in Arabic, أتيت لأتمم مكارم الأخلاق. And he came to regulate the ethics. So we have ethics. If you have an ethic, doesn't matter. You have the best regulator or you have the best law and order. If you have ethics, you don't need a regulator. A regulator is not a policeman to kill you. A regulator to tell you how to go straight. AML is to tell you that you are not allowed to take illegal money. So I think ethics is most important. And if you start with your staff, with yourself, with your community, with your environment, and if you are clean, you will not, trust me, you will not read the regulator to come and to tell you what's right, what's wrong, or AML. That's mean because it's inside you to have ethics. And I would say proudly in this region, we have ethics. Thanks to regulators in our region, because they put this ethics in a book. I know we are following the book, because to follow the books, I don't know if you have an Arab, امشي عدل احتر عدوك فيك. Go straight, your enemy cannot attack you. So we have an ethics, and we 100% we follow the regulators in our region, and also we are happy to follow other regulators, because if I go to the Cyprus regulator or the UK regulator or the European regulator or the American regulator, that's mean it is helping me to educate my staff, to get myself first of all, educate my staff that we should follow this one, and we give no chance for regulator to violate or to catch me.
That's a very nice approach for sure. Being ethical is extremely important. Mr. Anwar, Brexit.
Yeah.
Brexit has changed everything, especially
Travel
the-
laws in the UK.
I was going to say especially in the UK. Elena knows very well because she lives in the UK. Can you tell us a little bit about regulatory changes? Talk to us a little bit about post-Brexit.
So basically, Brexit, it's given a lot of challenges and the same time opportunities as well. Because of the Brexit, we need to have a dual compliance, which means British should have a separate license, European should have a different license. There is no, we cannot operate. Before we were operating interchangeably, now it's not possible. So the Forex broker adopting different license, taking different, for the different regions, this is a challenge, and there's advantage as well. Comparatively, UK licenses are more business friendly in terms of operating. And there is, what I read a couple of times, the liquidity has shifted from UK to Europe. Though these are changes come, of course, it has a lot of opportunities and challenges as well.
Ms. Evdogia, what would you like to add on this?
Yeah, well, it's very interesting, I would say, the Brexit in terms of before you were going to UK and you were getting an FCA license and you were passporting to Europe. Now, you need to obtain 2 different licenses. One UK one, FCA, to serve your UK clients, and another one in Europe, SISEC, for example. Now, whether SISEC licenses are more in demand or not, it's relative. People want to stay in UK, I say, and this is why we see a lot of warnings from FCA to relevant entities that they actually helping serving their clients from offshore licenses. FCA doesn't like that. So effectively, they want everyone who serve European clients to have an FCA license. This is usually not happening around the globe. It's FCA rules, this one. However, many people, we see that they want to serve UK clients from Seychelles, from Mauritius, and other licenses, which effectively they will not be able to do so. Now, in terms of this region, we see a lot of investing in the region for many reasons, not just because of Brexit. We have a lot of wars around the globe, and UAE is the safest place right now for people to be. We know that. We share about that anyway before. So I believe the trust of the safety they have and the investing and the opportunities of the region, UAE takes wins, I will say, now the race against many regulators because they have good regulations and they protect the people. So Brexit, it's not themselves that they created, they shift the flow to Dubai. It's Dubai that created the opportunities, in my opinion.
Maybe Mr. Nasir wants to add something on this because he's also a specialist on the regional matters, as I can understand.
You see, whether we like it or not, a regulation, AML, everything, it is not only regulation. It's a lifestyle. In Dubai, I guarantee you, you buy a new Ferrari, leave it open, the key inside, you will find your Ferrari tomorrow morning in front of your door. In many countries, if you leave your Ferrari with the key inside or the key in your pocket, you will not find your Ferrari. So we say Alhamdulillah. So regulation is not only regulation about business. People think only regulation about business, you have to be ethical and business. No, it's a complete cycle. If you are good and you follow the rules, you follow the legal system, but you have to lock your door, you have to lock your car, you have to keep your car in the garage. That means there is something missing. I want to say something. I'm not exaggerating. I'm not exaggerating. I'm trying to promote our business. I love this business. I know many countries, they are hesitant to regulate or approve Forex, which I think they will be left behind. You cannot stop a flow. It's like you cannot stop hurricane. Forex is a hurricane. I'm sure in 5 years, I would say 90% or 100% of the sovereign wealth funds, they would be customers to our business. Why? Because this is the best business to stop corruption. It's the best business to stop benefits, because in our business, it's a clear, transparent, very liquid. It is a very sophisticated, regulated business. So I would say to other countries which they still hesitant to regulate Forex, to regulate this kind of business, I think the message, you will be left behind. Number one. Number two is regulation is not only regulation about business. Regulation is a complete cycle. From security, from safety, from health, from environment, regulation, AML, whatever. It's a complete cycle. You cannot be the best regulated industry and you have no security. Because you will have no team, you have no staff, you will not have people. So it's a complete cycle. And I see such cycle in our region. My country, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, UAE, Oman, Bahrain. I think now we will be the capital of highly regulated business, and I wish that we are going to be the capital of Forex in the next 1 or 2 years.
Miss Elena, before we go to digital assets, would you like?
Please let me speak about Brexit. Like, please let me speak about the FCA.
No, of course.
I've been waiting for so long. All right.
Of course, I will then go to the next topic before.
No, you didn't. You didn't. So no, what I want to say first of all is that Brexit has absolutely no effect on UAE. And in terms of regulatory framework, personally, that's what I believe, as well as the FCA, because FCA is the UK regulator. It regulates the UK entities. It doesn't regulate anyone here. It's just based in the UK. Now, however, and I will take you back to the memory lane, if we'll go back to 2015, Doma, I'm sure you remember it as well as I do. During the S&P event, a lot of UK-based companies had issues or were really close to failing because of the market event that happened. Now, it did affect FCA, and they did have a lot of work to do in regards to how they regulate their entities. Therefore, they implemented a lot of additional rules, and that's where we saw a lot of scrutiny from the regulator towards this business and towards, in general, OTC derivatives and rolling spot effects. And Europe followed, in general. Now, when that happened, and I personally believe this is the best example of over-regulating, when instead of protecting your citizen and protecting your citizens and protecting your market participants, what you're doing, you're pushing them out of the country. Now, it's amazing how quickly UAE was able to produce a regulatory environment that is healthy and as respectable as the FCA in the past, to match the demand for the brokers who wanted to continue being regulated and wanted to continue with their integrity, offering ethical business. So if FCA have done something, yes, perhaps it created an opportunity for another regulator to flourish, but it hasn't really did anything else to actively promote another regulator, if that makes sense.
No, it makes a lot of sense. I was thinking who to start this question about digital assets. Maybe I'm going to go back to Ms. Evdogia. Digital assets, something I'm extremely passionate about as well. How are they regulated in Dubai? How we've seen this trend, especially in this region. Can you talk to us a little bit about digital assets and cryptocurrencies?
Well, Dubai and Abu Dhabi are the first places around the world, I'll say, that they put a well-framed regulatory frameworks around digital assets, which includes, of course, crypto assets. Okay. Now, they framed a very good framework. They implemented in practice to specific entities that they have expertise. So they give the license to them in order for them to learn. This is a very good approach from a regulator, because regulators are always followers. Okay, so they have to follow the industry, but who to follow? The ones that are have more expertise, right? So I expect the regulatory framework to evolve, of course, and especially after MiCA, which is the European regulatory framework that comes up end of this year. But Dubai and Abu Dhabi, they are already there. They are already licensed. They are already learning from it. So in my opinion, even the banks here, they adopted and they know about digital assets. They are forward-looking as a region. Therefore, they are ahead of the game until Europe adopt the regulatory framework, until the banks in Europe to accept the crypto, which I believe that will be the most difficult and challenging for Europe. Now, what I will expect is, of course, other places around the globe to come up with their enhanced regulatory framework. If I answer correct your question.
That's why you open it very nice for Mr. Nasir. Are the other regions ready also to follow Dubai and Abu Dhabi?
You know what? I'll tell you a story. 1988, there was an article called Plastic Money. A good professor, his name, Rahmatullah alayh, Khamis Abdul Majid, he was graduated from Wharton, undergrad, master, PhD, and he wrote an article about plastic money. And I was a student, so we were making fun of him. Is it plastic money? That's mean one day you will have only plastic money in your pocket. There is no money, no money, just plastic money. So we thought he was crazy. That's how come you will have only one plastic card in your hand, and you will have no money, no currency, no banknote. Last month I was in the US for almost 30 days. Hardly I used the banknote. Hardly. I think I haven't used it. So 99.99 of us not using any more banknote. So we moved from banknote to plastic money. Now we are moving from plastic money to digital money. That's mean if I go to Starbucks, I will take my mobile and pay with Apple Pay or Samsung Pay. But not only our money, we became digital. In my country, we have a nice app called Sahel, which is in English, easy. That's mean I'm not using anymore my passport, my ID, my appointment with the minister, my appointment with the regulator, so I'm using now the app. So hardly in my day-to-day business in Kuwait, I use only this app called Sahel. If I want to see the minister, I just send a request through the app. I will see him next day. If I want to make authentication for my bank payment, through the app. If I want to make authentication for my civil ID, through the app. To renew my card, renew my assistant. So now we are moving from classical business to digital business. So if we accept in our life to move to digital life, that means we have to accept also in business the digital investment or money, or what you call it, crypto.
Digital asset.
So this is what we are going to have. Whether we like it or not, it is not good to have the deny era, because you will be left behind. So this is coming. So instead of fighting it, we have to accommodate it and make use of it. So maybe I don't like it. I don't like cryptocurrencies because I don't believe in it, because there is no store of value. Because if you tell me put money in cryptocurrency, I will never put money. But I knew my daughter, my son will. So instead of fighting a new trend, we should prepare ourselves, be ready to make use of this new trend. Nobody believes that TikTok will change the life or the young generation. Nobody believed that Facebook, nobody believed in Instagram, but now we have to admit it's became more effective than the classical newspapers, the classical TV channels. So instead of fighting the digital economy, we have to make ourselves ready to regulate, control, make use of digital economy.
Miss Selina, what do you think
Yes,
about
boss.
digital assets?
What do I think of digital assets?
And the region we are in, of course.
My God. What do I think of digital assets? I think that the approach that the UAE took to regulating digital assets is the example we should all take in every country of the world. The speed with rolling out that regulation and responding and get to that challenge. So when the country realized that they have those companies offering trading in digital assets or exchanging digital assets, or even actually the newest bit, which I was completely shocked to find out yesterday, is that apparently VARA now also regulates prop trading. So it's been rolled out and it's live. It's the first country in the world who actually say we now regulate prop trading. So the speed of VARA and coming up with those frameworks and actually seeking help from other regulators is just amazing to me. And I think it's a great example for all of us.
The beauty about being a regulator in the UAE is you can work with other local regulators. And we do not see it very often. So yes, it's happening in the region. So Mr. Anwar, any thoughts about
Sure.
digital assets?
Mr. Nasser rightly said, things are changing very quickly, very fast. He put the words summarized very nicely, yes. How many of you from India? How many of you used GPay? Yeah, so GPay is very revolutionary. I was surprised when I was in India 3 months back. I never carry even 1 rupee in my pocket. I just use my mobile for the correct chai, even the tender coconut for the street vendor. I never carry cash in my pocket at all. Even 10 dirham, which is less than $1 for a tea. That's how the things are changing very, very fast. I never go to visit ATM for this, time. So yeah, things are changing very quickly. It's very important to regulate all these things. Dubai is definitely pioneer. There is a virtual assets regulatory authority, VARA, which is established in 2022 dedicated for the regulating authorities. And the DMCC, it has a crypto center, which has for all the blockchain regulation. And ESCA as well is adapting, ESCA Abu Dhabi. So there is a lot of change are happening on the digital asset, and definitely Dubai is a pioneer. We can all learn from, I think the entire world learn from the role model which is set in Dubai. The things are changing very quickly and fastly. It's again, I'm going back to the point, the ethical and sustainable business. When things are changing, when the regulations in place, definitely the business will be more sustainable. The investor confidence will be there when we go for those assets. So I think it's very interesting subject to discuss with. Thank you.
So, MiCA and global regulation. Ms. Evdogia.
Please, Evdogia, yeah, that's what I wanted to say.
I think we're starting with accelerating order 1, 2, 3, 4. So, MiCA and global regulation. Where are we at this point of time? And what is going to be implemented by MiCA in the next couple of months, or let's say a year from now? Can you please give us an introduction on this?
Yeah, definitely. So MiCA stands from the regulatory framework for crypto assets in Europe. Now, we all know that when you go to one European country and you get any sort of license, you can passport it and you can offer your products to all over Europe. Until now, you cannot get a registration of crypto and you can offer it to all European countries. You have to go to each regulator, to each country to obtain your notification, let's say, to allow you to offer the services there. With MiCA, automatically you will be able to do that. However, there is a huge period and process there. Now, the challenges, I say, is for the existing regulated entities, the CASP or VASPs, that are either in Cyprus or Malta or Estonia or Lithuania. Whether these regulated entities that they exist, they will need to go in a certain transitional period to adopt all the regulatory framework of MiCA without stopping their operations. However, we have Lithuania and Estonia where they adopted the registrations by the AML unit, so it's not a regulator. Now we have to transition to a regulator. Cyprus, for example, CISEC was doing it and will continue doing it, so the regulator will continue. Of course, we have the regulatory framework comes up December 24. However, we know that regulators need to work a lot in order to adopt all the regulatory frameworks. I expect to have maybe some delay on that or some miscommunications. Hopefully we will not have a lot of issues with existing regulated entities because it is very important, I say, to continue operations. Now, whether this will be beneficial, I don't know, because we have the travel rule where they have to follow it. And of course, it's part of AML, not of part of MiCA. And we may see that, again, we have some offshore places. I'm not talking about Dubai and Abu Dhabi, where they are regulated and they are adopting these reputable, it's reputable anyway. So we may see an offshore jurisdictions that they will not adopt all of these frameworks that MiCA, VARA, and Vitos in Mauritius, they have. So they are not going to follow all the regulatory requirements. And again, we may end up in an unregulated environment. So a quick win, which might not be beneficial for the industry.
Okay, because we're running also out of time, I would like to ask each one of you, how do you see the future 5 years from now? Maybe we will start with Mr. Nasir, and then we will go around and finish with Ms. Evdokia.
I really thank my colleague here. She spoke highly of regulators. And, you know, in physics we have high pressure, low pressure. So it moved from high to low, from low to high, right? Regulator is the same. Some regulators, he think his job, sorry for my English, to screw the customer or the company and to be the policeman. Oh, and he go to his boss, yeah, I screw him. This guy will be left behind and he will have no customer. A smart regulator, he believes his job is to correct and guide the companies or the client to the right path. Okay? So my message, because we spoke highly of regulators, because I'm afraid of regulators, so I spoke highly about regulators because I don't want them to find me tomorrow in my company, but I want to send a clear message. Some staff, some employees and regulators or regulation authorities does not deserve to be a staff of such entity, because a company like me or like other companies, we create jobs, we create economy, we help economy, we educate people, we help customers. So if the regulators will not help me to grow, then they will have nobody in their country. Why people like Cyprus? Because they are a dynamic regulator. Not because my colleague is here, she speaks highly of Cyprus. Because we love Cyprus because they are dynamic, you know. They are willing to change tomorrow the rules if it's wrong. They are willing to educate me, not to kill me. Why we love Dubai? Dubai will come to you, say, this is wrong, this is right. You have to do 1, 2, 3 to be compatible with the system, with the... So we have many regulators in the region. Their job is to help you to grow and to correct you, not to kill you. Some regulators, they think their job is to fine you or to kill you or to look big in front of their authorities that we catch the criminal. This is new. This industry new. The regulation is new. The digital assets is new. Everything is new. So we are not a perfect human. We want a regulator to help us to correct ourselves. We want a regulator to help us to help our economy, to create jobs, to contribute positively in the economy. We don't want a regulator to just come and kill me. No, come tell me, like I'm your child. Correct me if I'm wrong. If I duplicate the mistake, that's I'm a criminal. But if you tell me this time this is wrong, and I correct myself, then take me to the next step. Some regulators they want to hold your hand and take you to the top of the industry. Some regulator, no, his job is come and kill you, and he feel proud that he killed a company. So what? Our money, our capital, our clean capital is fast flowing. If I don't feel the environment in Cyprus is good, I will say goodbye. I'll go to Dubai. I'll go to Abu Dhabi. I'll go to Riyadh. I'll go to Jeddah. I'll go to Doha. I'll go to Kuwait. I'll go to London. So I'm not going to, if I'm clear as my capital is economy, but I feel sorry. Let's say one country, I have 120 employees, and the regulator is coming to me. Well, I don't like your qutra, but your qutra is not perfectly. I don't like your shoes. I don't like. Come on. I am human. I can do right things. I can do wrong things. Correct me if I am wrong, and encourage me if I am right. And this is the message to regulators. You know, for me, I didn't care about regulators. They close business, so what? No problem. But if I want to help the industry, a regulator has to be dynamic, fair, clean. And then the regulator should know his job is to help me to go to the next step, not to kill me.
Ms. Selina, a little bit about the future.
Don't hold me to it, please. Okay, so to be honest, I don't know how MiCA is going to work. I just don't see it working, especially the travel rule. Like, unless you get, it's taking something that was meant to be decentralized and trying to centralize it. And unless the banks start accepting crypto converted into USDT converted to fiat with no questions asked, I just don't see it happening. Now, if we're talking about the regulatory framework, I think majority of the countries in the old world will follow UAE in regulating prop trading, and we'll definitely see some corrections from the regulator for those who have performed it unethically before.
Mr. Anwar, any last thoughts on that?
Yeah, great. So it's all moving towards ethical and sustainable business practice. That's what the regulations are evolving. In business, in Tamil, matramundre maradhudu, which means change is constant in Tamil language, Indian language. So change is constant. Of course, without change, there is no growth. And the growth, the greatness comes only from the change. So I think it's good. The regulations are changing for better, for sure. So things are changing, the way using the transactions are changing. Regulation also changing, adapting and evolving. It's all good. It's all good for the investor as a consumer protection. They'll get more trust on the fintech environment. The business will be more regulated. ethical, and it will be more sustainable. I think it's good. The 5 years from the downline, it will be more better for sure. So, inshallah.
And let's close with Evdokia.
Well, for my positive message here, I will say, as the industry we are, we need the regulators, as we discussed so far, to be more friendly to us, to help us to ensure compliance and correct any not correct practices. This is huge, and this will change the world because regulations are here to stay. And we don't want to avoid the regulations, but we want to learn from it and evolve and become better. If we find people, and that's not solving the problem. And the next is we would like to see banks being friendly towards the new era that is coming, which is here again to stay, the digital assets. So at the moment we see them as an enemy to them. But they have to accommodate and become the friend for the regulators and the banks to accommodate with the industry, because the industry is the driver, not the regulators.
Thank you everyone for making the time, and please give a hand of applause to my panel.